The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
People, aka Canucks fans, I don't know if you guys are going to like this episode, okay? Especially the first 10 minutes. That being said, who knows where we'll go? Straight up. That's the playoffs, baby. Let's do this.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's giving you your Canucks every day on Locked On Canucks. One love to the podcast network that is the Locked On Podcast Network, giving you your team every day, aka your Canucks every day. And man, oh man, one love to the Don't Those Art Lab for doing the most, especially for the West Coast, okay? They really look after their neighbors here at the studio. We're super blessed for that. And remember, people, how are you going to look after the world if you can't even look after your neighbors, okay? Speaking about your neighbors, your Vancouver Canucks, they lose last night to Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, Matthias Ekholm, and Evan Bouchard. That's just the truth. Look at the stats, right? I think I'm correct on this. 7 of the 8 goals scored by the Oilers in this series have been because of those guys. Look at this stat too. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, 33 points in 7 games. 33 points in 7 games. That is historic. That is unbelievable, but also believable at the same time because we're talking about 2 generational centers, 2 generational players on one team who have unreal chemistry, and not only with each other, but again, with that whole unit. Hyman, Bouchard, Ekholm, Draisaitl, McDavid. Just a force. And it may just be mission impossible to stop those guys. That being said, if it is impossible to stop these guys, the Vancouver Canucks, your Vancouver Canucks, can still beat the Edmonton Oilers in a 7-game series. Trevor, he texted me last night, and he said this. It scared me, okay? He said that the Oilers can generate 3 wins based on the performance of those 2 players, right? Those 2 alone can do, again, the impossible and generate 3 playoff wins in a series. It's kind of interesting to say that, really fascinating to say that, because we're talking about an NHL Stanley Cup playoff series where teamwork is so important, right? Like, think about this. Think about how many times we talk about the third line being the most important line in a playoff series. And here I am saying that, again, those 2 players alone can generate playoff victories. It's crazy, but it's the truth. Those 2 are just so special. So special that throughout the game last night, I wasn't even stressing. I wasn't even mad. I wasn't even aggravated. I wasn't even sad. I wouldn't say enjoying what I was seeing, but as a sports fan and being one for the past 25 years, witnessing that level of greatness is, again, not soothing because they're against our Canucks, but it just makes sense, okay? The inevitable happens when the best of the best, and I'm not talking about tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 players. We're talking about the best of the best in their sport. When they're doing what they're doing, no structure, no game planning, no officiating, nothing can stop them. Nothing can stop them. They are the best at what they do, and that's playing hockey. And man, oh man, you can't, again, applaud the effort we're going against them, but you straight up have to say it is what it is. That's going to happen. And going back to Trevor's point, those 2, again, are going to generate chaos. They're going to generate victories for the Oilers in this series. And that's where the details, right, for the Vancouver Canucks really matter. And in this sense, the details for me are the other lines. And I was thinking about this, right, in the morning, talking to the people in the Discord, okay? Join the Discord, link in the bio. But I feel as if Rick Tocchet, and I've been wrong so many times about the lineup and the projections and what Tocchet should do, but here I am going to say it again because I think it's so evident in this series. I think Rick Tocchet has to load up 3 lines and kind of ignore this 4th line. I mean, think about what the Oilers are doing. A 1-line team. For now, a big-time 1-line team. Load up your top 9. Rick Tocchet. More specifically speaking, get Elias Pettersson some line mates. Do it. Move Lindholm up. These are the lines I want. Brock Besser, JT Miller, Pius Suter, and then you got Lindholm, Pettersson, and Höglander. And then you got Bluger, Garland, and Joshua. And do so in Edmonton because, A, you don't have last change. And it's pretty obvious that it's going to take a team effort to, quote-unquote, slow down Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. You know what? Scratch that. I don't even think that should be a game plan, okay? Stopping Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid and company. They can't do it. Nobody can do it. Nobody can do it. But when those guys are not on the ice, make sure you're loaded everywhere else. And it's pretty obvious that even with Pettersson getting better, getting going, right? You can see him warming up, scored a goal yesterday. Even with all that happening, if Ilya Mikheyev is one of his line mates, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. What's not going to happen? 5-on-5 scoring for that line. The proof is in the pudding. Again, Pettersson is going. There's some proof. And Ilya Mikheyev has what? 1 goal in his last 447 games. You have to give Pettersson some 5-on-5 support, especially in such a star-studded series, okay? It's just the truth. Yeah, you can do this whole play the lotto line thing once in a while to foster some sort of offensive pleasure for Elias Pettersson 5-on-5, but man, oh man, we've seen it in recent history. That line doesn't have it, especially when it's being used sporadically throughout the game. More specifically speaking, if they're going to want the lotto line to be a thing, then use them in practice. Just the truth. Just the truth. So yeah, I want to see Lindholm, Pettersson, and Höglander be a thing. I think if they don't get the Miller lineup or the Miller line against the McDavid line in Edmonton, I think Lindholm and Pettersson can do their thing. I think I've seen some strength or some signs of strength come back in Pettersson's two-way game. I'd give them the opportunity and not shake my head at it if they're up against the Draisaitl line. And also Bluger, Garland, and Joshua, on the odd chance that they got to do it against that line in Edmonton because it's going to happen based on last change not being in our favor. It is what it is. It is what it is. Again, I don't think you're going to stop that line. You just got to, again, I'm going to state the obvious. You got to outscore the Oilers. Outscore that line. And we'll be fine. Man, oh man. We'll be fine. And I mean that. I still think the Canucks are going to win this series. It's just the truth. I think it's borderline impossible for me not to think that. Because I look at the Canucks' depth. I look at how some of their players are progressing. And I understand wholeheartedly, did I say that right? That this team is deeper and better than the Oilers. And I refuse to be scared of a one-line team, even if that one-line team is the Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl. I can't tell myself that this is a series we're going to lose. I can't. I don't see it. And on that note, how about Rick Tocchet's press conference after the game? I don't have the exact quote, but man, oh man, he did say something really special, okay? Look at GV on the comments. Pretty much saying the same thing, okay? Tocchet's presser after the game nailed every point on what we did wrong. How about what we did right? And that's proof, in some sense, over the last 2 games, that we're very much in this series, a thing that nobody in the NHL saw. And you can see the holes in the Oilers game and in their lineup that indicate this series going in our favor. If all things go well. Now, can I add this too about this whole McDavid Draisaitl thing? Because it obviously did the most last night. I mean, you look at the shot attempts and the scoring chances. I'm pretty sure I have this right. I may be wrong by a couple of numbers, but when that line was on for the Oilers, they outshot attempt the Vancouver Canucks 33-7, 32-7, and outchanced them 18-1. AKA that was pure dominance. And I feel as if everyone in that building, and now I'm going to talk about the fans, saw that too. Because there's a lot of rhetoric online right now talking about how the Canucks fans didn't have it yesterday in game 2. okay? And they needed to be louder in period number 3, a period in which Artur Shilovs was the only guy showing up in that building wearing blue and green. That being said, I've said this so many times about our fan base. We're educated. We know what's up. And us alongside the team itself was spooked. They were scared. They were fearful about what was happening and what was about to happen. And that's McDavid's line getting the game-winning goal. I don't think anyone in that building, straight up, outside of Shilovs, thought they were going to win that game. It was mission impossible. That's how good that line was. That was historic. That was great. That was phenomenal. I know I'm sounding soft as a Canucks fan. I should be maybe more agitated and mad and not giving so much credit to the best of the best. But man, that's A, hockey, and that's B, showing us fully that this is McDavid's world, right? The NHL, the game's forever changed because of what McDavid is doing. McDavid plays at a pace that is so 2040. You know what I'm saying? He's in the future. Things happen. But I'll say it again. We can beat the Edmonton Oilers. Now, can we beat the NHL referees? We'll get to that in like 5 minutes, okay? Let's get to some comments, okay? Let's get to some comments before we, ramble some more and get out of here. Again, you're listening to Locked On Canucks. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out a lot, okay? Look at this comment from Andrew, okay? Hope you're all well today. That's the attitude, man. One love to all the mothers out there, man. About to go on a Mother's Day lunch. Happy Mother's Day, man. How about JS? Go Canucks, go. Doing its thing. Look at this comment from Mike, okay? I wish we had a generational forward. We do have a generational defenseman, though. 2 notes, and I'm going to touch on both, okay? Look, the Oilers, let's be real, let's be honest, okay? You got to state the obvious. I know they hate hearing this, but it's the truth, okay? No team has gotten luckier over the last 30 to 40 years when it comes to just landing not just a generational player, but again, a guy who just changes the game. And more specifically speaking, by the end of the day, when this all ends for us, this will be the case. And that's the Oilers having 2 of the best players of all time. And I'm not talking like 2 of the best 5, 2 of the best 6. I'm talking 1, 2 the Oilers will have in a span of 40 years. And that's Gretzky and McDavid. And how did they get McDavid? It's because they sucked. How did they get McDavid? It's because they got first overall pick after first overall pick after first overall pick after first overall pick. You know what I'm saying? They're a one-line team. They were gifted this guy. Just the truth. And the Canucks have never had a first overall pick. So yeah, we don't have a generational forward. Kind of makes sense. When we have a lot of star-studded forwards in the lineup. I mean, another good game from Brock Besser offensively. JT Miller had a couple assists. Yeah, they could have been better, but you can see, again, that the Canucks are just deeper and more dangerous. And if they're not spooked by the McDavid line, if they're not playing like the P word, right? And just take advantage of when that guy's not on the ice instead of game planning for when he's going to jump back on the ice, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Now, the whole comment about the generational defenseman thing, though, I got to mention this, okay? Again, Mike talking about us having Quinn Hughes. He is a generational defenseman. I believe that as well. But on that note, I know the dude's a little injured. This dude's got to be more of an X factor. He does. He has to be more generational. And I know 27 minutes last night, played well. I think he should play more against McDavid too. Got the 1 assist on the power play. I know he's playing hurt, but Draisaitl's playing hurt too. And this is the playoffs, and you're the captain. This series can turn in our way quicker than later if Quinn Hughes plays like that guy and takes initiative. We haven't seen that yet. You know why that's also so important, other than the obvious? Let's be real. Stuart Skinner sucks. That guy sucks, especially right now. And if Quinn Hughes buys more time for himself and his team in the offensive zone and generates more shots, more is going to squeak by. It's unbelievable after 2 games in which a series has seen us allow 8 goals against. It's unbelievable for all that to happen and for me to say that the Canucks have a strong goaltending advantage, even though we're using a guy that is our quote-unquote third stringer. What a game from Shelovs. I need more from Quinn Hughes, okay? Just the truth. Just the truth. How about this from Syndicate? Syndicate, am I saying that right? Okay, it's not impossible to slow down McDavid and Draisaitl with better line matchups and combinations. Something Taka did not do. Again, I think when Draisaitl and McDavid and company, again, Ekholm, Bouchard, and Hyman, right, that 5-man unit, when they're feeling it like that, I actually do think they are impossible to stop. Straight up. I don't know what strategy can stop that because they make the rules. They do. We're not talking about, we're not talking about Philip Forsberg here, We aren't. We're not talking about Anze Kopitar. We're not talking about Mark Stone. We're not doing that. We're not talking about Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and Nylander. We're not doing that. We're talking about Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and company. When they are on and they're feeling it, again, this is sports. They make the rules, the best of the best, the elite of the elite. You can't stop them. You can't. I believe that. Trevor believes it too. They will do their thing. If you think this is the last game where they're going to get 2 or 3 goals or 4 like they did yesterday, you're out for lunch. Now, I would love to have your attitude, but I just can't see that. This all being said, I just said Stuart Skinner sucks and we have more depth. I also did say they got to give Pettersson some more options so that when McDavid's line is not on the ice, we have the clear-cut advantage and we're, applying more offensive zone pressure and putting more on Stuart Skinner, a guy who sucks. When we took this job, like they told us, they said, yo, don't use the word sucks. Don't say a player sucks. That is rude. Bro, that's just the truth. Just truth, okay? Just the truth. Mike again with a good comment, okay? Höglander has been bad in the playoffs. Worse than Mikheyev. I thought Höglander was a bit chippier yesterday, a bit more noticeable. But that offensive flair, it's not as instinctual, okay? Straight up. Thinking too much. In his head, the moment, a little too big. And it's surprising because, again, Archer Shelov's the third stringer. That guy's going up against the force that is the Edmonton Oilers. He already won you a playoff series in Nashville. Like, that guy is seeing this moment not being too big. He's just seeing this for what it is, and that's another hockey game, right? And it's time for a guy like Höglander to do the same. Have some fun. Take the pressure off. And help this not be the case, right? Look at this comment from GV coming from Ireland. Free Pettersson. It's happening. It's happening. Straight up. Popeye Sailor saying the Canucks were mishandling the puck a lot last night. Bro, they were playing spooked. They were playing scared. They knew it. They saw the future. They knew McDavid and that line was going to end things. Just the truth. Yesterday, it was mission impossible to beat the Oilers. Look at the shots. Look at the domination. It was a spectacle. It really was. It really was. It was truly something else. Look at this comment from Born to FOMO. He's saying that the Canucks need someone to shadow Ian Cole so he doesn't score again. Man, Ian Cole has had a horrendous first 2 games of this series, okay? Straight up. I feel as if the score is 6-1 for the Canucks if Ian Cole doesn't play in game 1. And yeah, we can talk about his analytical performance yesterday and his overall performance yesterday not being great as well outside of scoring in his own net. But man, oh man, like a lot of the Canucks players weren't doing their thing. They weren't showing up. He, alongside the rest of his teammates, were spooked. Didn't have it. All that being said, I think Tocchet is going to be loyal to Ian Cole. Maybe they sit together on the flight today, right, to Edmonton. Maybe they play a bit of poker. Maybe they smoke a cigar. Maybe they just doing their thing, right? They have a good talk, and they put that trust in the vet, the Stanley Cup champ, and he rebounds. Because the other option is putting in the Surrey boy, Noah Juleson, a guy that's, again, proven everyone wrong, has made huge strides, but to bring him in when he's a little rusty, going up against the Oilers at their barn where they have last change, that could be diabolical. Again, you know how I just said the Oilers are going to score 3 to 4 goals a game with that line playing like that? Bro, it might go up to 5 or 6 if Noah Juleson is there, okay? It's just the truth. That was something else, man. Look at this comment from the Oilers, from Andrew, okay? If the Oilers don't win the cup, they'll be broken up. This is why, again, I want the Canucks to beat the Oilers so bad. Straight up. I think we could be the last straw. I think that the Oilers can break apart a year early if it's this version of the Canucks, a team that lacks so much playoff experience, a team that was in the lottery 14 months ago, a team that's using their third string goaltender. I think if this team does it against those Oilers, it's over. It's over. Just the truth. Popeye saying, I think the Avs are better than Edmonton. I do agree with that. And Syndicat saying what? Okay, I did say slow down. This guy was the one person who commented about slowing down the McDavid line. But he's saying that we can keep them to 2 goals instead of 4. Bro. Cool. I think they can do that if they get a little lucky. And Shelovs comes up with more saves, man. Shelovs, again, what a performance. What a performance from him, man. Just so proud of what Shelovs is doing. Speaking of proud, okay, I'm proud of the Vancouver Canucks, man. Okay, I know we just lost. But for them to stay so composed after the game and not blatantly use F words to describe what the officiating was last night, it shows a lot of composure, a lot of solid media training, a lot of accountability, which I love, okay? I don't think the Oilers are that accountable. I'll go back to the post-game from them after game 1. Anyways, the reffing sucked yesterday. It was so bad. It was so bad. We can go down the list, right? I think a lot of people are mad at a lot of things, and I think I see it the same, but let's keep it short and sweet and straight to the point, okay? And then I'm going to end on a statement that might piss off Canucks fans. Not Oilers fans, but Canucks fans. Okay? Anyways. Pettersson behind the net. Darnell Nurse takes him out. Is that a penalty? I don't know. It's playoff hockey, okay? I don't know. I got to see it again. That being said, as soon as both of them get up, what happens? Nurse elbows Pettersson in the head. He clips him just a bit, but let's say Pettersson embellishes or goes down after he takes an elbow to the head for no reason at all. I guarantee you, Nurse is getting a penalty. But did he get a penalty? No. Pretty pathetic, okay? Pretty pathetic. We're talking about Elias Pettersson here. If that happens on McDavid, dude, Zadorov is getting 5 minutes. It's just the truth. BS. McDavid high-sticking on Quinn Hughes, okay? The missed call of the playoffs so far. We're talking about a 4-minute penalty not given out to the best player in the league. And you're telling me that the league did not see this? You're telling me that the 4 officials, or whatever the number is, did not see this? You're telling me that they weren't watching McDavid and Quinn Hughes at that part of the ice? You're telling me that didn't happen? They saw it. They saw it. They just didn't want to call it. Playoff hockey, right? Let them play. Hughes is bleeding. And then they have the audacity to play by the rules and kick him off the ice because he's bleeding some more when the Canucks are about to get a power play after Suter comes back on the ice, right? Like all that math was lining up for the Canucks to win a draw, to have their best player in the offensive zone, carry the puck, have the puck, get some momentum. Suter comes out of the box. There's a bit of a power play. All that is taken away because he's bleeding just a bit from his cheek. Because why? McDavid slashed him in the face. No call. And then how about this, right? Suter hits McDavid with a minute left in the second period, right? Interference, I would call that. I would. Good call. I mean, it's the playoffs, right? But, it's still interference. I would also say that's a pretty stupid play from Suter. What happens 40 seconds later? 45 seconds later? 50 seconds later? McDavid, clear interference. Clear interference on Nikita Zadorov. Again, we're talking about Connor McDavid. Everyone's watching Connor McDavid. He's such a spectacle, okay? Fans of the game, NHL officials, big fans of the game, right? You don't think they're watching this guy? They missed that call. They didn't miss it. They saw it, but they didn't want to call it, okay? Let's be real. Let's be honest. Absolute BS. How about before that when Derek Ryan speared Niels Höglander in the balls? I have never seen that not be called a 5-minute penalty. It's a pretty pathetic call. And now we just heard that he's also not getting fined for that. Okay? It is what it is. I don't know. Maybe Höglander doesn't have balls, right? Who knows? Who knows why nothing happened there? BS. And then the last one, right? Evander Kane slew foots Quinn Hughes behind the net. And what happens 45 seconds later? McDavid gets a breakaway and scores. Pathetic. Because we're talking about the Norris winner, right? Quinn Hughes. Puck is behind the net. You don't think everyone's watching that? They're seeing that. They're looking closely at the play. I don't think they missed the slew foot. I don't think they did. They just didn't want to call it. And you know the deal, right? If that's McDavid getting hit like that, bro, that's a penalty. All that being said, and this is, again, going to hurt the Vancouver Canucks fans, right? As I say this, because I just feel like this is the truth. If the Canucks got 6 more minutes of power plays, if McDavid sat in the box for 4 minutes, let's say the Canucks generated a 2-goal lead and there was 10 minutes left in the game because the Oilers kept, fumbling the bag and taking penalties, and we were taking advantage of it. Let's say, again, we have a 2-goal lead, 10 minutes left. Things are looking good. Blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, I still feel as if the Oilers are winning that game. I feel as if, again, McDavid and Draisaitl and company, yesterday they were impossible to stop, and no matter what, they were going to get the job done because it's sports, and we were playing their game yesterday, for real. They were going to do whatever it takes, and I feel as if they would have got it done. Just the truth. Those guys were on a mission. No matter what would have happened, they still would have won the game. It is what it is. That's the Oilers' key to success. We couldn't stop them. That's why we lost the game, not because of officiating. The Oilers, look at the shots, look at the shot attempts, look at the possession time in the last 30 minutes of the game. The Oilers were going to win that game. Again, you know how we came back in game 1 in a span of a couple seconds? They were going to do the same. In my opinion, okay? In my opinion. Anyways, can we get to some more comments before we get out of here? Why not? Okay, again, go Canucks go. Enjoy the sun today. Game 3 tomorrow at Rogers Place. Going to be a good one. And screw the Oilers. Straight up. Okay, look at Imran, okay? Saying that the nurse on Pettersson was 100% boarding. Watch it again. I will watch it again. I will. I'm just saying, sometimes I watch playoff games and I see us taking similar runs at other players, and there's no calls because it's playoff hockey. But again, I was way more upset at the elbow that Darnell Nurse threw right after. It was so obvious. It was one of those chicken wing elbows. And it sucks because if it did connect, there's like a 50% chance that Pettersson gets a concussion. You know what I'm saying? It was a stupid play by Nurse, and even stupider one from the referees, man. Kelly Sutherland, man. Bro, I hope they build you a statue in Richmond so we can just throw tomatoes at it. You suck. You really do, okay? Straight up. You suck. I look at JP72 saying, boo-hoo, this guy must be an Oilers fan. But yeah, I'm going to complain about the refereeing. I don't care. They got to be held accountable. That was embarrassing, man. Yesterday was a game where I think some emotional hockey fans could potentially be turned off from watching NHL hockey again based on the blatant rigging of the game. Straight up. How did those things not get called? Because there's a bit of an agenda, not to have one team win over the other when talking about the whole series, but possibly extending the series, making sure, the league makes more money by this going to 6 to 7 games. Bruh, it was on full display yesterday. It was. And I'm never that conspiracy theorist, but it was on full display yesterday, okay? How about this one from Ingus, okay? We need to have a good whack at either McDavid or Draisaitl. I agree. Look at what they're doing to Quinn Hughes. Look at what they're doing to Pettersson. Attempting to injure. Attempting to take them out. Just the truth. It is. That's a strategy when it comes to winning a playoff series, right? We're talking about the long game. Having the best of the best be injured or playing hurt is a strong advantage. And to see that the Canucks did nothing to Draisaitl yesterday just shows you the power of Leon Draisaitl. It does. The amount of respect, too much respect they have for that guy. And I'm not talking about him being a nice guy and not wanting to, lay the boom on him because he's hurt. I'm just talking about the space they were giving him, even when he was quote unquote injured. What a force, man. What a force. How about this? I woke up still angry. This comes from Weekend Nachos. Bro, yesterday, or last night, I'm sorry, was the first time I ever had nightmares. Literal nightmares. I'm not even lying to you. I woke up 3 times last night because of what happened last night. And it wasn't as if I was going into my sleep angry or mad, because once again, I'm content somehow, some way to losing games like that in which McDavid and Draisaitl do their thing. It is what it is. It's sports. That's going to happen. But there I was having nightmares. I had a lady in my dreams screaming, McDavid's going to shoot. McDavid's going to shoot. And I woke up so confused. I've never had things like this happen to me. Straight up having nightmares about players and sports. I'm down bad, bro. I'm down. I need help, man. I need help. I need therapy. Look at Andrew saying that I got the tinfoil hat on today, bro. I'll say it again, man. When I have a, am I cutting out here? Am I cutting out here? Can you guys hear me? When I have a child, I pray to the universe that he does not want to become, he or she does not want to become an NHL referee. If my child comes to me and is like, yo, my dream is to become an NHL referee, it's over. Sending them back to Fiji. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm that guy. I'm a jackass. I would not send them back to the motherland for any other reason. They could do anything else, and I'd be like, you know what? I support you. I love you no matter what. But if you want to become an NHL referee, get out of here, man. Just the truth. Look at Popeye saying that I'm harsh as AF, okay? Popeye, also a really good father who's part of the Locked On Canucks fan base, maybe saying that, I'm being too harsh, but man, I hate NHL officials. They're such phonies, man. They're so fake. They're so fake, yo. So fake. They get way too emotional. How are you an NHL official able to put yourself in a position where you want to become the star of the game? A, because you're getting paid to do so, or B, it's because you failed to live out your true dream, and that's playing the NHL, and here you are officiating it. And again, just trying to be the star, man. Look at this comment from JP, and this will be the last one, okay? I hope this guy's an Oilers fan because I want to end on the note I made 10 minutes earlier, okay? JP is saying that the calls and the non-calls in last night's game pale in significance compared to the calls that have been made in playoffs in recent history. And you know what? I agree with you. I made a video last night just rambling in bed, and I said that there's probably a really good chance that the Oilers have faced similar type of officiating against them in years past. Okay, we're talking about the playoffs. They played a lot more playoff games than us. Things happen, and the NHL officials suck, okay? It just happens. And right now, there's a huge magnifying glass on it because of the West Coast bias, right? People in Vancouver, Canucks fans, able to watch these games with such importance again. We're so emotional, and everything, again, is so times 100 in court. And in that, there's all these missed calls, again, being magnified. It gets us riled up. Things don't make sense. But I kind of agree with this guy. I do. This is just life. This is just the NHL. Things are going to happen, and you have to find a way to beat the refs. And even if the refs were on our side yesterday, I still feel as if we had no chance of beating the Oilers last night. Just the truth, okay? McDavid, Draisaitl did their thing, and I'm curious to see what the Canucks do about it tomorrow. Anyways, my name's Kyle Bowen. Just had to ramble for the people, man, going into Game 3. I think Beggsy and I may do a show tomorrow. Maybe. Who knows? Tee up Game 3. Maybe we'll do a post-game show. Who knows? But in the meantime, hopefully you enjoyed this conversation. One love to all the Canucks fans. I don't want to say one love to all the Oilers fans, but man, oh man, this series is going to be a fun one. It's going to spark a rivalry that we're all going to love and hate for years to come. And that's important because that's never been the case in my hockey viewing history since 2001. These two teams have not been rivals. Straight up. They've barely been good at the same time. Just the truth. No playoff series, no animosity. Hasn't been a thing. And now it's going to be a thing. And it's going to be a thing for a very, very, very long time. Unless the Canucks beat y'all in this series and McDavid and Draisaitl. Don't extend / ask for a trade, okay? Anyways, my name is Kyle Bound, KYLEBHAWAN. Hit the like button, subscribe. Make sure your children do not become NHL officials. Because if they do, I cannot support you, okay? Just the truth. One love to the Don'tos Art Lab for supplying that West Coast bias and the space for us to give you this show. And one love to all our sponsors, man. Straight up. And one love to you and you and you and you and you and you. Go Canucks, go. Enjoy the Saturday. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast